Ahoy! Tony Milazzo, you are live and on board. And my guest today is actor, writer, comedian, Jon Huck.
Hey, how you doing, man?
All right, Jon. Good to have you live and on board.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
How do you feel about that, coming out to the water?
I love it. I love it, man. I really like... as a kid, I kind of wanted the... live in an RV, you know what I mean? Like, have all your stuff, but never have to stay in one spot, you know what I mean? And there's something about boats that, I could never afford a boat, and like we were just having a conversation with your friend, and it's like, to me, it was like, oh man, only rich people must live on boats. And he's like, no, homeless degenerate pieces of shit live on boats too. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, there's small sailboats that people buy for like $500, couple $1,000s or something.
Right, and then they live on those. Yeah.
Hookers and
it would be great, except that I don't know if I could get like my girlfriend to agree to live on a boat for $500 a month.
It would have to be a pretty nice boat.
Yeah, that's the thing. If I got like whatever this thing is at the end of the pier here, this Freedom boat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that looks pretty nice.
Yeah, things range. That's a power boat. I have a sailboat. Sailboats, you can get them pretty big, but inside they don't get like super big.
Right.
Because low ceilings. Like this is a high ceiling. Everybody's spoiled in my boat. They're like, oh my God, we don't have to crawl in.
Right. That's what I was gonna say. Ceiling, I'm 6'5", so this is
in here.
Actually not bad.
6'5".
What's that?
6'5", 6'6", probably my ceiling, right? Were you?
I'm 6'5". No, I wasn't. I don't hunch until I get to right here.
Right there. All right. So nice. But the boat on the end tie. I mean, about $2 to $4 million boat.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It's a power boat. It has three or four staterooms. That's what turns then the girlfriends are like, oh yeah, I'll move on board.
Yeah. Well, of course. Right. Yeah. You have a sewing room. You have a cooking room. You have a.
Yeah.
But no, and obviously I can't afford $1 million. I can't afford a $500 boat.
Oh, come on. You're a big producer in Hollywood. Come on. I've seen your name everywhere.
Big money. Yeah, well, I pay bills and car payments.
And you have a girlfriend. I mean, all this.
Yeah, and I got to go pick up dinner after this. Exactly.
Oh, she said pick up dinner.
No, I said she cooked yesterday, so I said we'll pick something up.
You'll fix it because it was your turn, and you don't want to cook.
Well, no, I just don't. We're going to her place. I don't want to go get groceries, and I'm not going to cook anything.
It's easier.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a guy too. It's easier if I'm by myself. I definitely get food out.
Oh, if I'm by myself, I'll eat a bowl of cereal or have a sandwich. That's my thing.
Really? Yeah.
I'm real simple.
Blow it off.
Yeah.
Easy. Okay. You're easy. But we won't spread that around too much now that it just went all over the airwaves. John's easy. But boating, how often have you boated?
Not very often, man. I mean, taking the ferry to Catalina, almost drowned off the coast of in Lake Superior, up in northern Wisconsin.
That where you're from?
I'm from Illinois, but I went to college in northern Wisconsin, and there went to school in Ashland, and there was Madeline Island, which was right off the water, and you could go out to Madeline. You could ferry out to Madeline. I had a friend living out there, and we were out drinking at a fire one night, like on the beach, and everyone was taking the canoe out for little quick rides around out and back, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to do that too. So I jump in without a life vest, with a can of beer, and just head out there, and I realized like I was enjoying the silence and the stars, and I was like, well, man, it's getting cold, and I turned around, and like the fire that was on the beach was the size of a match head. I was like, how far out am I? Like I must have been like a mile or two out, and then trying to get back, ended up falling out of the boat, and had to swim, and took my shirt off, and I wouldn't take my pants off because I had keys to my brand new car that I just bought, and
they're already wet now,
and like a $20 bill. So I was like, I can't lose my pants. Like I'll lose my keys. So I swam in like heavy Carhartt jeans for like a mile and a half.
You start thinking about things like that.
Well, yeah, I was just like, what a shitty way to die.
I just got caught on that pause. Did you hear me drinking? Yes, we're having a beer. Damn it, we're on the water.
I was going to say, I don't see how you could come out here and not have a beer, really.
Yeah, and it was a tough day, so I really needed this beer. I'm glad Jon was like, let's have a beer. Yeah. A tough day.
I'm glad your boat didn't burn down.
Just before we got here, I almost blew up the boat. The batteries exploded or something, overcharged. I don't know what happened, but nothing, boat, break out another 1,000, nothing we can't fix.
As long as you got the money, I'm sure there's a mechanic that'll deal with it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you're from Illinois. You're
yes.
from You've lived. Where else have you lived?
I went from Illinois to northern Wisconsin for college, and then after college, I lived up in northern Wisconsin for a while, and then I moved.
Went to college?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm a learned man.
Oh, good for you. Good for you. I went to college too.
And then I moved to D.C. for 3 months, and I hated that immensely. And then I moved back to Illinois, and then I was there for about 6 months, and then I moved out to L.A.
Yeah. D.C.'s kind of strange, huh?
Oh, it's so gross. Yeah, I did not care for it.
Martial or curfew kind of.
Well, it was a bad setup for me in general. I was living with people I didn't like. I
went from New York City though to there.
Oh.
And it was kind of shocking. So
yeah.
I never went back.
No. I have no reason to go back. I have no desire to go back. It's not something that calls me.
Yeah. In case you don't know Jon, let's go over some stuff you've done.
Okay.
And if they do know you, they'll figure out other stuff you were in and be like, let's watch it. I know Punk'd, MTV.
Yeah.
You appeared a couple of times in it. I know you were producing on it. Right?
Yep, produced on that show. Worked myself into bits whenever I could. So it was in a good handful of them. But that was a lot of fun. And produced a bunch of other stuff for that company and for MTV, mostly hidden camera shows.
Mm-hmm. Lots of fun. I like those.
Yeah, they're okay. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things I'm pigeonholed as a producer. That's where I go to work, but it's not necessarily my style of humor,
right?
Personally. So, But I mean, it's still enjoyable. It's usually a great group of people.
There's pranks always, right?
Yeah.
Are you a prankster?
I'm not.
I'm not.
No, that's the thing, man.
How bizarre is that? You're a comedian.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm a comedian.
Producing that show, and you're not a prankster.
No, yeah, I don't like having pranks played on me. I don't like playing pranks on other people. I find it. I don't know. It's just obnoxious to me.
Yeah, I have a friend that's a prankster.
Yeah,
and,
a little much.
She doesn't like pranks played on her, but loves to pull off big ones.
Well, you can't. It goes both ways. You can't have it only one way.
Exactly. So I have a lot of respect for you now.
Yeah.
Right there. That you don't pull pranks on people and you don't like them.
I mean, unless I'm being paid for it and and there's a group of people pulling the prank. You know what I mean? Then I'm like, I can rationalize it if I'm paying my bills that way.
But then you got to look over your shoulder because you know damn well they're gonna. No, has anybody ever done that?
They haven't. I was in Vegas once. I worked on a Punk'd where we got Jeremy Sisto, who was on Law and Order. He was on 6 Feet Under. He was on. He's in Suburgatory right now. Yeah, he's a great actor. He's a super nice guy, and we punked him, and I was the one at the end who had to go up with the release and be like, hey, would you sign this? And he's like, so we chatted a little bit, and he recognizes he sees me face to face. Like 6 months later, I'm in Vegas just with friends at somebody's bachelor party. We're out eating, and I see him from across the room, and I'm like, oh my gosh, Jeremy Sisto, I wonder if he would even recognize me. And then pretty soon somebody's like, dude, he is staring at you. And I'm like, oh, okay. So then I kind of look up and make eye contact, and I kind of walk over there and I'm like, hey, how you doing, man? He goes, and he's looking around all shady, and he's like, so who you getting in here? What's going on? Like, he assumed that I was working on a bit, and I was like, no, bro, I'm just here for a bachelor party. He's like, no, you can tell me. Who you getting in here? And he was like just looking around all over the place. He's like really paranoid. I was like, oh.
Funny, how cool is that though? That was good.
Yeah, it was funny.
At least he didn't punk you. Because you got to wonder. Are you wondering?
I always
over your shoulder. You ever wonder if somebody's going to get you?
Because when someone gets got on Punk'd, they're angry or they're going to seek revenge on their friend who set them up.
Right.
It's never going to be the crew. Because these guys are actors and they understand production. They're like, you guys are just doing what you're paid to do.
Right.
They can have no vengeance on you guys, but their friend who's like, hey, come out to brunch with me, and then all of a sudden a dumpster blows up and they get blamed for it. Then it's like, all right, I'll blame the friend for even getting in touch with the production company.
But I'm a New Yorker. I'm from New York. We'll just mess up everybody. It doesn't matter the crew. It doesn't matter. Everybody attached to who pranked you. We just
get them all.
Get them all.
That's a very mafia.
So you better watch yourself with don't punk any New Yorkers.
Oh well, I mean,
dangerous to you.
Yeah,
especially Italian. Hey, one-way boat ride for you, Jon.
The Carlito's Way boat ride.
All right, so I'm just full of questions. Okay, so we're on your career. Some other stuff that I know you do some stuff, some indies, some stuff for Netflix films.
Yeah. I have a couple of movies out. I have a movie called Garbage that I'm in that's streaming on Netflix right now.
Yeah, I heard something about that.
That's was really my first movie. It's about two garbage men who find Cuba Gooding Jr.'s Oscar in the trash, and kind of their 15 minutes of fame that follows that.
Nice twist.
And it's a nice comedy with a lot of heart. It's not like a slapsticky comedy, you know what I mean? But it was really fun to do, and it was really people seem to like it. It won Best Feature at the Hollywood Film Festival 2012. Nice. And
I've heard about
garbage. I've been oddly enough, I've been recognized taking my garbage out in front of my apartment building. I've had people walk by, like out of Runyon Canyon, like, "Hey man, you're really good in that movie," and I was like, "Did someone pay you to say that?" Like I always assume that I'm being set up somehow.
Right, because that's what
well, also just because there are so many movies on Netflix. There are so many things you could possibly watch that I'm always amazed when someone watches that movie, and I'm like, that's great. Like, I'm all for it. That's the power of the internet. It's the power of what we're doing now. Is there's just so many ways you can reach other people.
Isn't that incredible?
And so many ways for them to see what you do. Like if Garbage was made in 1985, it would have gone, straight to video or whatever, and then never been seen. But it's able to go on Netflix, and people have, there's a contingency of people that watch specifically go after independent movies and stuff. So
technology's changed everything.
It really has. Mostly for, I want to say mostly for good in sense of content and people being able to get their art form out there. But also there's also obviously negative aspects to it as well.
Right. So what are you up to now, and what's next for you?
Right now, I just finished shooting a mockumentary, a low-budget indie mockumentary called...
Like a mockumentary.
Yeah, it's about an adult hide-and-go-seek competition in Texas. So I play the returning champion, last year's champion, and I'm back to try to win it again. But we shot it over the course of like a few weeks in Dallas, and it's just really funny. I think it's going to be really funny. I have a lot of faith that they're going to make it a really good movie. So...
I like what I hear from you because it's outside the box. It's not the normal, scenario and theme and plot.
Oh no! Yeah, definitely not.
Everything I'm hearing. I like it.
For me, I started kind of really acting in 2006 when I started doing commercials, and that wasn't really acting. That was just you have a look. They put you in a commercial. You're like, "Hey, Toyota," and they're like, "All right." So, but because of that, like I like being on set, and once I started to get into acting more, I was like, I really like this. So in my head, like I submit for everything. I submit for like student films with no pay. Like I'll act in anything. I just want to, I just want the challenge of like doing the best I can at something that I enjoy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
you're out there. That's so.
Yeah, and that's the thing
I don't do this and I don't do that. But
no,
you limit yourself with technology today between producing your own stuff.
Yeah.
And getting yourself out there. It's just I cover all bases too.
Yeah, and you never know when you're going to work with people that maybe the project you do right now with some students or whatever is dog shit, and they all know it, and you do it anyway, but whatever. Yeah. But these are the same people that are going to go on to like get contracts to direct real movies, and they're going to go, you know who was cool? That one guy who showed up and didn't cause a fuss, was really funny, great to hang out with, did his part, was really good in the movie, and then bring me back. It's like they're
the next Ridley Scotts and Spielberg. You don't know who's who.
You don't know who's who in this town, and as advice was given me very early on when I started producing, which was just know that the production assistants you hire today are the EPs you're going to be working for tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, it's always like, you have a guy who gets your lunch every day for a year. And if you're not nice to that guy, eventually that guy's not going to be getting lunches anymore. That guy's going to be, like, running studios. And you're going to be like, he's going to be like, hey, remember when you were a dick to me because I didn't get you the coffee you wanted? And it's like, oh, yeah, sorry. Like, there's no sense in being an asshole in this town. It's not gonna benefit you. Come on, be a good person. Don't be a dick. I don't know.
Whoever you meet on the way up, you're going to meet on the way down.
Oh, yeah. You're going to be working for him on the way down. Yeah.
You're going to be on your way down.
Yeah. I mean, and that's true, because even, like, the guy, when that was said, that I can just think that one of the PAs that was in the room is now pitching shows and producing. And
as a player.
Yeah, and we're still friends because I helped him keep his job and, like, was really nice to him, and we get along, and we're actually friends that hang out outside of work, so... Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know.
enjoy that. I've made some really good friends on a lot of independent film student
Yeah.
films that I'm still friends with today, and everybody's gone on to other stuff.
But it is rare.
Pulled each other on.
It's rare that if you're still in touch with them, I think that's rare. I remember, like, working in one of my first PA jobs. We went to Costa Rica for this show, and you bond with everybody. You're like, obviously I've never been to war. I would never belittle war or try to compare anything I do, but I looked at it as sort of like some sort of a battle. Like, you went into this production with this group of people and you made TV. Like, if you've ever been on a set, it's amazing that anything ever gets made.
Oh, yeah.
So the fact that we were able to do this, I was like, man, we're friends forever. This bonds us. We're going to be together forever. I walked away from that show. Yeah. I literally only talked to one person that was there for that. And we're really good friends, but he's the only one. Which is so rare.
Was that before most of the technology, maybe?
It was before Twitter, Facebook, MySpace.
Because now you're all it's right there on the set. You're putting in each other's Twitter.
That's a
Facebook,
good point. That's a very good
for the
point.
Rest of your lives, practically.
And
even if you don't want to see them.
Yeah, that's true. They're there anyway. Then
on your Facebook.
I've had that too. Work a show where I'm like, man, I never want to see this guy again. And sure enough, he's on your Facebook feed every day. Like, hey man,
I took a fart.
How are you? How's it going? And just trying to buddy up with you, and you're like, oh my god, really? I thought I was done with you.
Block. No, unfriend.
Yeah, I can't even do that because somebody will see that. Like, I've been busted on that a couple times. Like, if you don't make me laugh on Twitter, I'm not going to follow you. If you don't give me information I want, like sports scores or news information, I'm not going to follow you. It's not a personal thing. It's just how I feel. So I'm
just like, I'm visually challenged, so I'm always just like, hey, I must have been an accident. I don't see good. Oh, it must have been my assistant.
Yeah. Oh, my phone. It doesn't.
Oops.
Yeah, I don't know. Sorry.
Yeah.
Which is what I had to do. This guy was like, hey, how come you didn't follow me? I was like, oh my god, what? You know about that? Like, Jesus. So I felt like an idiot.
Since technology, more people confront you. Do you notice that too? Because they feel it's not in front of your face. Like, I get little notes on my Facebook or somewhere. Hey, how come you deleted me? Hey, how come? Like, in your face. Where like they wouldn't do it if it was really in your face. Like,
well,
person,
they wouldn't know if you just took their phone number off your phone list or whatever. They wouldn't know.
I just don't call you anymore. What's the big deal?
Yeah,
we don't talk anyway.
Very sensitive, and then because of the way social media is set up, everyone thinks that they know you and that they're your buddy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is also kind of
Jon Huck. We're like this.
Yeah,
I tell people.
Remember when you tweeted my thing and we talked on Twitter?
I met Jon twice in comedy places for 2 minutes. He didn't even notice I was alive, and I'm like, hey, Jon Huck's my buddy. But it's like this.
It's not even
Sean Halpin. We're like, hey.
It's not even the meeting. It's just it's people you've never met that are like, they tweet you a bunch of times online and you're like, yeah, okay, that's great, and then it's like you feel obligated to then respond to these people every time, and you're like, Jesus Christ, I don't even know you. What?
You don't remember me? I was at your show. I even came to one of your shows.
Yeah, I'm like, well,
really?
First of all, so that was you. One person came? Great.
Thousands of people have been at all my different shows. How do you even figure out, like, oh, really? What were you wearing?
Yeah,
I know you?
No idea. No idea.
But I love you all.
Yeah, I love everybody. I love everybody.
Love everybody. Can you feel the love? So talking about feeling the love, what are you doing? You have a social life? What are you doing? You dating? What are you doing?
I do have a girlfriend, yeah.
Because you're like 6'5" stud.
Well.
Producing stuff. You could cast and couch any girl you want. I know that. That was already going through my head.
Oh,
gross. He's casting couch.
First of all, have you ever?
Or is that how you got your job? You were on the.
Yes, I was on the casting couch. I happened to just kiss the right people on the mouth using the proper amount of tongue, and here we are.
I figured that. I'm going, how did this guy?
Yeah, well, it's obviously I use my sex appeal to get everything. Don't look up pictures of me.
So I still got no answer to that question. I don't know.
What? No, I'm dating. I love my girlfriend. She's amazing.
Great.
Yeah, but if she's
Has
not
it been a long time or
7 months, 7 months, 6, 7 months. Yeah, she's not an actress or a comedian. She's in production.
Perfect. That was my next question. I was going to say, were you smart and
I've done that
entertainment based
for long. Well, she's in the entertainment industry. She's a producer, but But she doesn't want to, like I told her our first date, I was like, so you don't want to be an actress, you don't want to be a comedian. She goes, not even a little bit. And I go, okay, because if this is going to work, there can only be one needy piece of shit in this relationship, and it has to be me. All right, I can't have two people going, I didn't get the part. Why won't these people audition me? Wah! I can't. It can only be me. I can only be the only one to do it. You can have work problems, and we can talk about those work problems, but those work problems can't be the same as my problems.
Is that how you handle auditions, by the way?
Cry about it?
No. Are you worried about? Do you just move on? Because I do this thing. Everybody has to ask you. You have that, right? All your friends, if you said you were going on something or something, they're like, oh, what were you? How did it go? They ask you 3 days later. Oh, you didn't get it? I kind of just go perform at an audition and don't look back. I erase it I move on, next thing, and if it pops up and they call me back, I go, wow, cool.
Look, first of all, I never tell anyone that I'm going on auditions. I mean, I tell my girlfriend, she's like, what are you doing today? I got a couple auditions. But I never...
I try not to.
I don't post them online. Like, that is an enraging... Oh, yeah. That is an enraging... quality that people are displaying. Like, I got 2 auditions in a meeting. What'd you do today? I just went
Good
to...
accent. Oh, I know.
No, I'm picking... There's a lot of people out there. It's a very... I don't know. I guess it's... Look, I guess people need to...
Those are the same people, though, that, they also type out when they just took a fart or...
yes, and there's a lot of...
Had a fight with their girlfriend.
Well, that's it, too. It's just like...
Going to an audition, going to
today,
ace this,
and the vague comments of like having a crappy day, and then everyone, oh my God, what's wrong? It's like, what? Who cares? Like, everyone's having a crappy day. People are very inappropriate online, I think. Took Dad off the breathing tube today. Like, what? Why are you posting that? Oh, he's going to have 10 more surgeries. Like, dude, I don't even know you.
Oh, my God.
It's so
much
weird.
Information. TMI.
I feel bad. Like, don't you have a friend that you could confide in, that you could talk to? Like, I'm sure you're going through a lot of stress and drama with your dad being on a breathing tube, and this is crazy. But don't you have, like, a group of friends that are like, hey, man, how's your dad?
Do you think social networking is making people weirder, too?
Yeah, it's making people super weird. They're posting things...
Stalker-type people
that we didn't have as many. Well...
I feel like it's making more stalkers.
There's more stalkers because, again, they feel they can access you. They feel you're right there.
They just show up wherever you type, too. Like,
hey! And that, for a real celebrity, for someone who's, like, in the public eye a lot, that can be real terrifying. Just like, hey, I'm going, look, this is me at the Golden Globes, and then here I am at the party, and then someone's like, yeah, I saw your picture at the party, and now I'm here. Like, whoa.
Oh, yeah.
That was not directed at one person.
I mean, I'm not, I'm a legend in my own mind, but, I've had a couple of weird incidents with fans.
Yeah.
And right at the back door, one of the shows, or just very strange encounter. Like I'm supposed to know them, and very in the dark, nobody around, just like, ooh.
Hey, you know me, right? And like, no, we've never met. So how would I know you?
And I try to be nice like that, And oh, really? And have we met before?
Oh yeah. Oh, online? Okay.
Nice.
What? I have to go. Bye. See ya.
Yeah.
No, it's.
Well, I'm a little bit late for where I'm going, and I try to how do I get out of here without getting
without getting stabbed
or something?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, no, it can be interesting.
But it's also increasing your fan base.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like I noticed. I made fun of MySpace when it first started, but then I kind of looked at what Dane Cook had done and what he was doing and how he was building a fan base and just becoming like this exploding internet comic. And I was like, wow, what a great tool. Like, I wasn't thinking about these things being used as something that could help advance your career, whereas now that is what it is. If you don't,
and you are thinking about it, whatever. I see what you're doing.
Well, now you have to. I mean, now it's every day. You're taking a dump. You got to be like, get on Twitter and be like, what can I say that's funny today that doesn't relate to this dump? Because that's a lot of times I'm like, poop is funny, and I'm almost 40. I got to stop doing that, but.
Yeah, well, we never grow up.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't think that's why we chose what we do, because there's no fun in growing up.
You see the size of me? I never grew up literally.
You just drank a lot of coffee as a 9-year-old?
Oh, God. That and cigarettes.
Oh, there you go.
5 years old, I was smoking 2 packs a day. You, though, with this whole 6'5", and me being, we're not even going to say, but vertically challenged.
Okay.
It's like the Mutt and Jeff. It's like, oh, my God, the things... Oh, my God.
I'm vertically challenged, too,
my
just the
turning.
opposite way.
Exactly. That's incredible. We need the gears are turning over here, so...
There's got to be one thing on a shelf that neither of us can reach without, like, jumping up or bending over. You know what I mean? Like, there has to be a medium point where, like, you're like, I can't reach that. I'm like, man, I can't get that either.
I didn't even think of that. See, I like that. He thinks outside the box.
I think outside the shelf.
Thinking outside, thinking outside the shelf. So, right now,
Yeah.
I noticed you were out of town. So
Yes.
You're doing comedy shows across the country.
Well, no, I was in I was just in New York. My brother got married in New
That's
York.
across the country.
It is across the country, and I was doing shows over there while I was in New York. Yeah, but I wasn't like.
Well, I go visit, and I do the same thing.
Yeah, those clubs don't call me to book me, but when I call them, they're nice enough to put me up.
They listen.
Well, they're nice
Jon
enough to
calls.
find me some space,
That's
you know.
Nice. That's
yeah,
nice.
it is.
What clubs did you do?
The Stand is always really good to me.
Ooh, I've never done it.
Oh, it's a really great room. Like a lot of solid comics. It's yeah, man, you're gonna ask me. I think it's on Third, but it's like.
New York City. That's all.
New York City. Yeah. I couldn't tell you where because I walk. My brother lives in Manhattan, so I walk from his place.
What else did you do?
The Eastville Comedy Club is a club that's always been.
Eastville, Long Island?
No, Eastville Comedy Club. It's in Manhattan as well.
Okay.
Always been really nice to me. They always put me up when I call. Did Caroline's for the first time when I was there. I don't like Times Square. Caroline's is right off Times Square. I loved Caroline's. Everyone there was great.
Totally crazy, though.
Well,
the whole area.
outside was crazy, and then you get inside, and that's a foot traffic club. Like, people just wander in, because, like, I've heard of Caroline's in Times Square, and I'm visiting from another country, so you have half your audience is Swedish, half of them are French, and nobody's really understanding you, and you're like, hey, guys, Duck Dynasty, and they're like, we don't know what that is. And you're like, all right.
Yeah.
And I don't do any jokes about Duck Dynasty, but I'm just trying to say TV
right, exactly.
jokes.
They don't know what's going on.
Pop culture, anything like that is a little bit they might know, but it's a skewed view, and it might not relate to what you're saying, so it's a little confusing. But still a great club and a lot of fun. And then I do Josh Potter out there has a bunch of shows that he always gets me on that are like bar shows. Yeah. So those are always fun too.
Have you performed back home a lot?
In Illinois?
Yeah.
Every once in a while, yeah. For a while I was kind of trapped in the suburbs and doing these weird suburban shows, but recently I've been going down into the city and getting spots, and that's just a better crowd. It's just more entertaining.
How do you find the suburbs? Doing shows in the suburbs? Whole different crowd, they're more laid back, right?
I don't know about laid back. I don't know about that, because you go all the way out into the suburbs and they're like... And granted, I used to be a lot dirtier, I guess. Do you know what I mean? But they don't want to hear jokes about dead babies, and they don't want to hear abortion jokes, and they don't want to hear religious jokes, and they don't want to hear political jokes, and they don't want to hear... It's a very...
There's nothing left.
Yeah, it's kind of... I most of my comedy is self-deprecating nonsense anyway, so I just make fun of myself or tell stories and whatever.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
I do a lot of self-deprecation, and they love that.
Yeah, they do. They do.
If I can rank on my height, my eyesight, and...
they'll relate.
Yeah, they love it.
Yeah, no, but I've had a lot of... Like, I've done shows in the suburbs and then driven into the city on the same night, and the turnaround, the difference in crowds was insane. It was just like one crowd stared at me like what's the Bill Hicks line? He's like, you're staring at me like a dog being shown a new card trick. And then the next room I went to downtown Chicago, they were insane. They were a great crowd. They were happy to see comedy. They got it. They understood everything. They were funny themselves. It was entertaining.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So what's next for you? What do you want to do? What do you want to do?
You've
done a lot of stuff.
Well, I haven't done that's nice of you to say that I've done a lot of stuff, but I feel like I've done nothing. So really? I want to do more.
Comedy, writing, producing.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to write a movie. I want to act a lot more. I've been submitting myself as well as having an agent and a manager, and just trying to act in anything I can. Like, if I'm not going to work, if I'm not being paid to produce and I have to sit around, I want to be doing something.
Right.
And I'm trying to work on new material for a new CD, and just trying to get out there more, just trying to be more accessible and getting.
Speaking about accessible, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you?
You can find me. First of all, you should follow me on Twitter. Well, you shouldn't. You should, if you'd like to. Follow me on Twitter at JONHUCK. I have a podcast with a very funny comedian, Sean Halpin. It's called The Full Count Podcast. Right. We're on Twitter at the FC Podcast, online at thefullcountpodcast.com, and our show comes out on iTunes every Wednesday. You can check that out. I don't have any current shows to brag about or tell you about, but I do have a couple things on Netflix. Like I said, you can see Garbage on Netflix. There's a movie, Dumbbells, that'll be streaming on Netflix by the end of the year that I'm in. Countless commercials. Yeah, I'm just trying to
Google them.
I'm trying to be everywhere. I'm
stuff.
trying to be everywhere.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah.
So before we go, real quick on the podcast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Tell me about it. First of all, it's called Full Count.
Yeah, is
this about baseball or something?
It's a sports-based podcast, but the Full Count has a double meaning. Full count in baseball is when you have 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Right.
I only have 1 testicle,
mm-hmm.
and Sean has 2 testicles.
Right.
So that's 3 balls, and then we each have a dick. So that's the 2 strikes, pretty much. So it's that, but
that's freaking funny.
It is a loose sports podcast in the sense that Sean's from Texas and loves Texas sports.
Right.
I'm from Illinois and I love all Chicago teams. And then we have I'm a Dodgers fan as well. I like the Kings a little bit here and there. And Sean is kind of all over the place too. So we talk about what we know from the point of view of an uneducated idiot. It's like we just and usually we go off the rails and we're talking about something else entirely. But it's usually very entertaining. We have guests. It's fun. It's an hour long. Yeah,
everybody should check that out.
Yeah, it's fun.
I asked Sean a question or something about the podcast, and that's the first time I got that information. He didn't tell me anything else about the podcast, but that you had 1 testicle on the radio show.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, great, got that out of him. Hope John was okay with that. But then I realized
it's a pretty well documented fact. I used to talk about it in my set a lot.
Well, at least your name's John and not Lance.
Yeah.
See, that bothers me. Like, that would be really, like, I don't know how he did that.
Look, I did it
with 1 testicle.
I did it before Lance Armstrong, and I did it before Tom Green.
Oh, man.
That's how long ago I did it.
And they got all the...
Tom... They got all
the hoopla.
Tom was smart and put that all on... He recorded it all. He put it on his show. Like, he documented... And I thought it was really interesting at the time to watch him go through that because it was... Because he's heard me talk about my testicles on stage, and when I come off stage, he's like, "Oh my God, the same thing happened to me." I'm like, "I know. I watched the whole thing." He put it on his show, and I thought it was really interesting to watch a guy like that.
It?
Yeah, He put the doctors came in, and like I don't mean like the surgery and everything, but just the process of him going in there and getting that nut removed.
Oof.
And he was, you could tell he was worried. I mean,
that's another TMI. Like, I don't need to see that.
No, you don't. But I also thought it was very interesting that he did it that way, and I found it fascinating to watch because I had gone through that. So I was like, yeah. And then Lance Armstrong, it's a piece of human garbage. So say whatever you want about his nuts. I don't care.
But Sean said you don't care who says what about your nuts anyway. So
No. I talk about it.
So I have a question for you, and I hope nobody else ever asks this. If they did, that's gonna suck.
Well, okay.
But anyway, so is there any difference, like, in balance, or when you're, like, walking down the street, or maybe doing sports or something? Do you, like, lean to one side? Do you drive to one side when you're steering a car?
Because that I only have...
Is it, like, you totally off kilter, or what?
No, I'll be honest with you. What happens is the nut kind of centers itself out and takes over.
Middle?
And it's pretty much, like, right under my dick.
This is TMI. This
is it's pretty much where it is. It does. I mean, it is like I had a friend. My friend Scott was like, when it first happened, he was like, "So which one was it?" I go, "Oh, they took my right testicle." He goes, "Oh, okay." And I'm like, "Why is that okay?" He's like, "Well, now at least you can still say suck my left nut." I'm like, "I've never said that before. Why would I start saying that now?" He's like, "I don't know. It's a good saying." I'm like, "All right." But yeah, no, it doesn't. It's never thrown my balance off. Actually, walking off your boat onto the dock threw my balance off more than my testicle ever has, and that was like for 2 seconds.
Okay. And how about sex? Are you like doing it on one side or like leaning one way? Or
no, it doesn't throw me off.
Do you find yourself only like, I don't know.
No, I mean I think the one testicle I have has to work overtime to drum up that much sperm, but. Yeah, I mean it's never
girls
really.
don't like much of that anyway.
Well, you don't want to. I mean, I don't need a Peter North load or anything. I'm not trying to I'm not trying to paint somebody. I'm just
artwork.
Yeah, right. I'm just trying to relieve myself of some tension.
Yeah. Okay, so I think we've had a fun podcast.
Yeah.
I think we need to wrap up. We've got a whole bunch of stuff to work on the boat since we had a catastrophe just before we got
here. Get that fixed. I don't want to see this thing going up in flames.
Oh, we almost didn't have this Jon Huck.
This was almost not.
You know what? It almost did not happen. And we're going to finish these beers, and talk about you folks for a few minutes off the air.
Yeah,
And,
each and every one of you personally.
Yeah. And we're going to get out of here. So I want to thank you, John. Awesome for you to drive down here out to the boat, come on board, especially a vessel that almost burnt to the waterline.
Yeah, glad I made it before it did that.
Yeah, could have been the last interview or not at all. Thank you very much. Check out Jon Huck online. Check out Tony Milazzo live and on board online. liveandonboard.tonymilazzo.com direct, iTunes, soon coming to XM Talk Radio.
Ooh.
And catch us on Twitter. And that's Tony Milazzo Live on Twitter. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
You going to come back and do some boating with us?
Absolutely.
Excellent.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, join us next time. Ahoy, Tony Milazzo, live and on board.
Ahoy.